noise around us feels louder than ever. Everywhere a pull to take sides, to draw lines. Yet, beneath the noise, a longing endures, to live in peace, to belong, to find meaning. So what do we do? Withdraw? Resist? Choose a side? Or could another way exist? One that begins with a simple truth. There is no other. The pain of one is the pain of all. The hope of one belongs to all. Everywhere, groups of people are widening the circle of us.
You can't know what to do unless you know what story you're a part of. And the insight we have from Baha'u'llah is that we are part of the story of the maturation of humanity.
A new story is taking shape, quietly, patiently, together.
We need to find different ways of relating to each other that do not feed into cycles of violence. We must strengthen the communal sense.
People are learning to move through life not as isolated individuals, powerless before the problems around them. They are acting together.
Amid so much material and emotional ruin, we have also witnessed something luminous. The crisis has enabled many to set aside habits of individualism and revealed our capacity for genuine mutual support.
It's easy to assume disaster brings out self-interest, but we actually saw the opposite. Generosity was everywhere, and it gave us a lot of hope.
What appears in times of trial is the same spirit of service taking root in daily life. The habit of learning to serve together. A young person who serves, reflects, and studies carries that same spirit into every space of life.
What distinguishes youth from other stages of life is their courage, flexibility, and energy, along with their eagerness to create social change.
Education is a means to learn how to be more noble, how to be gentle. It teaches us to be practitioners of peace, through knowledge, through empathy, through trust.
When you put coherence, service, relationship, and values at the center, suddenly our true nature comes to life.
For these young people, their professions become fields of service, where they approach science and religion as two harmonious ways of knowing.
If we take this notion of a human being being both a material and a spiritual being, and an understanding of health that recognizes that both our material and our spiritual natures can be impacted by both health and by disease, we would come up with different approaches to addressing some of the challenges that we are encountering within our fields.
When challenges appear, they no longer ask, "How can I get away from this?" but "How can we face this together?"
I guess society shapes us in a manner that is quite individualistic. But I think in some places this culture is beginning to change. A lot can be achieved when people cooperate.
This marks a new consciousness, a sense of community that travels with each person.
The more we turn outward and work with others, the better we grasp the meaning of our common humanity.
Families, too, are being reimagined, not as solitary households, but as a supporting network, serving side by side.
They make decisions together and support one another equally. But these patterns also influence service beyond the home.
It's very inspiring for the neighbors when they just observe a father not just bringing money or providing the means, but he's himself engaging in teaching morals to his children together with his wife.
When there is unity in our family, we can form a community. And when there is unity and love in the community, only then can its light spread throughout the world.
What takes shape is more than cooperation. Labels begin to fade. What matters is the shared longing to build a better world.
When we speak about identity, what comes to mind is our ethnicity, nationality, religion, or gender. But what we are beginning to understand is that we possess an inherently noble identity that transcends these limitations.
At the core of today's divisions is a crisis of identity. The Baha'i teachings offer another way, a spiritual identity that sees humanity as one family.
To foster unity, the very notion of leadership itself is being reconceptualized as a sacred trust, an act of humble service.
We often think of competition as necessary for progress, but does it inspire us to help others prosper alongside us?
This forum is for us to profoundly consider and discuss the development of our villages, both spiritually and materially.
Wherever people gather to learn, to decide, to build, they discover themselves as protagonists in a joint story of progress.
The Baha'i community's commitment to gender equality and justice is rooted in the belief that all human beings are created to carry forward an ever-advancing civilization, and that gender equality is a prerequisite for peace.
A number of women were very keen, and they said that they would do everything that they can to see to it that a secondary school is established within the village.
This project has inspired many people to reconnect with the land and to rediscover the joy of planting.
Render our souls joyous and happy through thy glad tidings, O Lord.
These are the havens of peace, glimpses of new patterns of life that people are learning to build through collaboration.
Ang Pambansang Baha'i House of Worship.
The National Baha'i House of Worship will serve as a beacon of hope for the community, inviting everyone to gather, to pray, and to live in unity. Arts festivals have reinforced people's belief in generosity of friends and strangers alike.
Art has great power to create connections among people. The atmosphere at the House of Worship fills you with hope.
Building these havens will take the efforts of many generations. This generational effort finds its most poignant expression in the land of the Baha'i faith's birth.
The process has been happening for 150 years. It's only with the emergence of, the full picture that we can look back and say they were building these communities, they were creating the environment in which women could be more effective, in which children's education was at the centre of the community, central concern of the community, in which these ideas of collaboration and consultative decision-making were central.
To nurture these patterns requires more than plans or programs. It begins in the heart.
Every time I come here, it's just like to be able to remember how it feels to feel peace and joy and love.
When we look upon others and see no stranger, When our hearts kindle with kindness for all who cross our path, something shifts.
If there is joy, there is also hope. Hope helps you find joy.
This is the beauty of this place, the diversity of people coming together to bring people together for peace.
In all these ways, the distances between us vanish. And on the same ground where difference once stood, we learn to walk hand in hand. The life of Abdul-Baha saw no separation between friend and stranger. Now, as his shrine rises, it stands as a gentle invitation to nurture spaces of belonging and shared purpose.
We have Jews, we have Arab Muslim, we have Arab Christian, we have Druze, and all have come under the same roof and working harmoniously and creating an environment that not only empowering themselves in the relationship, and it has created a unified vision, which is the shrine itself.
Humanity's story is not one of decline, but of awakening, of maturing. Through every act of service, every gesture of understanding, the oneness of humankind comes more clearly into view. Quietly, patiently, together.